Dude, I'll wait till the second half to talk about the crazy story. But just briefly, I want to tell you that I went to the fucking skies, baby.
Oh, yeah.
I took a goddamn fly. I started the flying lesson that Erica had got me for Christmas. So I always wanted to learn how to fly. So this was like this first lesson where they, it's a very introductory. They take off, they land, but you're in the driver's seat. It's kind of like driver's ed, where they're in the fucking passenger seat, but they could still have the controls if they need to be.
Right.
So we go out to Long Island. It had been canceled 3 straight weeks because of rain, and then this now is finally the thing. So we go out. It's all the way out in like Ronkonkoma, Long Island. Drive out there. We go immediately. Like Erica drops me off because she came out with Jeet. They ended up going to like a dog park while I was out doing this because it was like 2.5 hours or something. I thought it would be, they said you guarantee like an hour in the air. So I figure it was like an hour of like class stuff and like, here's how this works. Now let's go on and let's go fly around for a while. This guy was like, hey, how's it going? What's going on, man? Yeah, I'm Jonathan. And he's like, all right, let's go. And we walked directly to the tarmac, which was insane. Because first you're just walking through like an airport hangar and it's so sick, dude, seeing
Do
like...
you have to go through any security?
For this one, I didn't, but it was like a private, like I did have to get buzzed in, so I guess that was a thing.
Dude, you should have, like, as a joke, just, like, kicked a mini Koran out of your jean pocket or something.
Yeah.
Like, how did that get there?
Yeah. And you're like, and by the way, which way is the sun? I just need to know for later, for Mecca. So you're walking through this hangar, and I'm seeing all these fucking sick private jets, like, in like being cleaned and all this other stuff, and you're walking underneath them to get to the other thing. So we walk outside. We're in this single engine Cessna, this tiny little plane that's
Did you
from
feel like you were running drugs?
It did. It felt like something out of Blow. It was from the 70s, actually, the plane. And so we, he immediately is he's doing his checkpoint list and everything. I have to duck to even be underneath the wing. That's how low it is and stuff.
All I'm picturing is and you just walking through this airport.
What song is that?
That's from Can You Hear Me Knocking? It's from
Oh,
Blow.
yeah. I love that song.
Man, I was just setting the stage for you.
I love that song, too. That's where you gotta start from the beginning. You started mid-verse. You were
that's where I was internally.
Yeah, well, let me know. So
I thought you were in here.
So we get in the plane, and immediately he's like, all right, I'll take off first, and we got to go here. And what's crazy is, so you have the brake and the gas, just like you would. It's not a brake and a gas, but it looks like those 2 feet pedals that you would be in a car. But it's turning right and left. It's turning the back tail right and left while you're on the runway.
Right.
So, but the steering wheel means nothing when you're on the runway, which is the weirdest feeling, because he's like, all right, we're driving, like we're giving a little gas. Go to the left, and you're like turning this. He's like, stop doing that. Like, take your hands off it. So you're no hands controlling it with your feet, and it's so fucking. And you have to like push it real hard in order to move it right and left. It's kind of like cool, and it's it's weird because I'm like juiced up and I have a lot of adrenaline. I'm also a little bit nervous.
What shoe wear are you wearing?
I'm just wearing regular, like walking sneakers, essentially.
Okay.
But they're, like, tied tight. I'm not wearing fucking Jordan 1s, you know?
Yeah, I was going to say,
no laces.
Your J's?
Yeah. So I'm talking to him, and I'm like, how long have you been flying? Like, how long have you been doing this? He's like, yeah, like 3 years. And I'm like, not long as I had hoped, Like, I was hoping longer, And so I'm like, how old are you?
He's like, I used to work for this helicopter company in L.A.
Yeah.
You're like, no!
Yeah.
Just moved here recently.
Yeah.
Company shut down. Whole thing.
Yeah. Hopefully, there's not a lot of fog today.
International news.
So we go. So we end up. He takes off, and it's just. It feels good. It feels like you're driving an old muscle car when you're. I've never been in like a single engine plane like that. That's just 2 people, because it's like when you turn it on, it's like things are rattling, like, but in like a good way, in like a mechanical kind of fucking way, right?
Did you feel it in your tush a little?
It was pretty soft. No, it was pretty soft. It was pretty cushiony, the thing. So we go up, and like, he flies us out and up out of like the airspace, and we go immediately over towards Fire Island and just that whole stretch of beach in Long Island. And he just goes, all right. Like, he immediately just is like, and now you fly us for the next hour and change. I'm like, what? He's like, oh, good. Just like turn left. So I'm all of a sudden like, I'm like, you're not even going to hold on to the, and I'm turning the plane like, a degree. I'm turning the steering wheel so calmly, and he's like, it's fine, you could do it. And I'm like, I don't know. And he goes, you can even use the left, to turn the rudder to get like an extreme left or whatever. So we start turning left, and then at some points you have to make sharp lefts, and I'm going, literally, the plane is on like this. And he's like, it's fine. And I'm like, are you sure? Because you're up there and I'm down here. And it feels like at any moment we could just be like, like this. And he's like, dude, you're totally fine. And we got from an elevation.
That's not how planes sound.
Yeah. Yeah. It's Pac-Man, right? So we get as high as like 4,000 feet, and then at one point we get as low as I think like 1,200 feet, which is I think the absolute lowest any plane can fly or whatever. But we're flying all just up and down the beach on Fire Island, which is so fucking awesome. It's so beautiful. Like it looks like Miami down there in Long Island. And we're flying, and what's crazy is he's got all this radar where he can see incoming planes. But it's weird because you don't have to be like, hey, I'm flying to Fire Island and then I'm going to make a right. You just go like, I'm going out there. And they're like, okay, in the air traffic control. And all of a sudden he's on the radar being like, oh, there's another plane, a couple, like 1,000 meters away, like coming south. And I'm like looking for it. And all of a sudden it's like it just like fly. I mean, it was never within, never close of us to where it was an issue. But you're just like, you have to constantly be like looking like, where's a plane? There's a plane. Where's a plane?
There's other planes up here?
Yeah. I was told this would be a private flight. And so dude.
That's why there can never be fucking flying cars. It's because, you think
there's no lanes. Yeah, there's no lanes. You just go. There's no lanes anywhere. People are all over the place. And so, but I took a couple cool videos, and it was so fucking fun. I'm like sweating, and I'm nervous, but I'm making like these fucking sharp turns. We're going here, and the air traffic control's like, you got to get out of this area. So we're like, oh no, and we fly over here and stuff. But Alex, I think you have one of the videos, right? This is so. First off, I want to say something pretty wild. Is that this on the steering wheel? I think it says. What does that say? Do you know what it says?
Skyhawk 2?
So it says Skyhawk, which is kind of crazy because it's from the 70s, and my first car was a Buick Skyhawk. That was that was like a cool kind of a thing. And so it didn't have nearly as many buttons and dials that you expect. Like you expect a plane that, like the commercial ones are the ones that have up here.
That looks like the Winnebago from Spaceballs.
Yeah, it is. It's pretty basic. But the only thing that matters is that second dial in the middle row where the plane, you can see the plane, and it's just showing. It's just your level. No, the one over. Yeah, that one. It just is showing like if you're level or not. Yeah. So let this one play a little bit. This is just a cool thing just to show where at one point I'm like, it's just so awesome. It's just nothing but a stretch of beach. We're flying. He's having a good time.
Masks on incorrectly.
You know what's so funny? And so here's the funniest thing. So he goes at one point. He's like, "All right." He's like, "If you want to take any pictures or anything, like you can do it now, and I'll steer us or whatever the fuck." So I did that video.
Yeah.
And then I was like, "All right, sweet." And then I put my phone. I was putting my phone away, and I was like, "Oh, wait a second." And then I looked at it, and I was like, "Oh fuck, we have our masks down like below our nose. Let's do another one because fucking cuck woke people online are gonna yell at me for it." And then we did a second one, and that's the one I posted. And I can't believe that of all people, Mike the liberal Cannon is calling me out.
No,
look
I
how
just
beautiful it
noticed
is. It's so beautiful, right? So
I don't care if you two fucking tongue kiss while you're up there.
And then I think, is there the one? Did I send you the one of the landing too? Because that was pretty. I don't know if I sent you that one, but that was pretty fucking terrifying. Because he's like, "I'll take over." And to be honest, this is it. So we started doing, and you can let it play. But we started I started getting sick, like not in almost like a car sick kind of a way. Not a seasick where you're like, oh, fuck.
Oh, because the seasick, like that made me seasick watching
the
levels.
But this was this was more of a car sick, like I'm getting like really like a sweaty, like that cold, like kind of like headachy, a little nauseous kind of a thing. And then, but I mean, he landed this pretty fucking smooth, right? But I got off the plane, and for the next couple hours, I felt like jelly legged a little, like, it's like you don't get your sea legs.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, oh fuck, dude, like this must be insane. But on that video too, when we're landing, you can see like the fucking level. Like if you go back a little bit, look at the level on that left that I was telling you about. That dizzy. It's just going like, you get a little like, and he was warning. He's like, it's really windy, so the landing's gonna be like pretty rough in terms of being. You're like, I don't ever want to hear that.
I hope the wings stay on.
Yeah.
This is from the.
It's
70s.
just crazy, but I'm a pilot now.
That's
baby.
great. Yeah. Do you
pilot.
have your wings?
Not fully, but I'll get them.
When do you do that?
You only need
How
40
many hours?
Only 40 hours.
What?
To private fly,
It's like
40
a work
hours.
week.
You need 1,200 to do commercial. But then, he's telling me these commercial pilots make like fucking $350,000 a year and he said in like airlines, like Delta, JetBlue, like if you get like the big ones or whatever, they do nothing. Like they're there in case of an emergency.
Right.
They literally just like take off and push the buttons, and then they just sit there and wait for something to go wrong. And when they don't, they get $350,000 in free flights anywhere in the world.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, and you're like, well, I fucking should have been a pilot.
We're in the
Everybody should be
wrong
pilots.
business.
Yeah.
God damn it.
I'm just working so much harder.
All right,
for
I'm
so
going to
much.
get my flight license.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, I'm going to become a commercial pilot.
That's when you wanna make your Irish goodbye.